Running has become quite an influencer-centric sport, says the guy making a YouTube video about running. And I think it's had a net positive. More people running is a good thing. Running is fantastic. But there are so many things that beginner runners are told that they need to have that they absolutely don't need to have. It's quite confusing when it should just be a really simple sport. Our ancestors have been running for thousands and thousands of years, and cavemen definitely didn't have alpha flies. They probably would have loved them, but they didn't need them. And I know that's a pretty extreme example, but in today's video I'm gonna finish off this run, go home, make a brew, and talk about some of the things that you just don't need in running, really. Let's do some de-influencing of running.
Alright, we're back from the run. I did just over 9 miles with a hotspot little half mile in the middle that absolutely killed me off, but then I actually enjoyed the second half more somehow. Lovely little canal route. Anyway, you may have started running and your Instagram feeds, your Reels, your TikToks, your YouTube Shorts, everything are probably filled with running stuff. This video may have even popped up for you and you're like, oh, there's too many running things. But there are a lot of things that you just don't need, especially as a beginner, a casual, or just an everyday runner. Running, sadly, like most things, is a business. There are companies that make so much money off you buying their watch, their shoes, their training plans, whatever it is. So a lot of places have to make it seem like you need that thing. But I'm going to go into 6, possibly more things that I've noted down on my phone that will just help de-influence some of them. First up, things you don't need as a beginner runner: carbon-plated shoes. Now, I've got a pair of carbon-plated shoes. I've got some New Balance SC Trainer version 2 or 3, something like that. They were about £160 when I got them. That's quite a lot, and I really enjoy running in them. I've got my marathon PB in them, I've got my half marathon PB in them, 10k PB, and I'll probably get my 5k PB in them in a few weeks. I'm training to try and get a sub 20 5k, which I'll hopefully do a video on as well. They're great, but you don't need them. Especially as a beginner runner, if you're just getting into running, all you really need is one good pair of running shoes. When I first started running, I had some, I think they were Adidas Ultra Boosts. They're like everyday lifestyle shoes. I thought they would be good running shoes, and to be fair, they were fine. They were all right, but they're not actual running shoes. When I first started using them and then went on to do a marathon training plan, I was using them and I got quite bad shin splints, and I think those shoes could have been a pretty big contributing factor to me getting those shin splints. They're not proper running shoes. I definitely recommend you get a good pair of normal running shoes. If you don't really know what to get, the best thing to do is just to look online at watch some reviews that people do. Kofuzi on YouTube does some really good running trainer reviews. Ben Parks does some really good ones as well. You'll find a brand that you like, you'll find some shoes that you like. I really like Asics Nova Blasts. I've had Asics Nova Blast 3s and 4s, and they've been absolutely great as everyday normal trainers. £135. That's pretty expensive, but if you just buy that as your shoe to go running in, not too bad. But I do go to something like a park run and I see someone doing a casual run pace in Vaporflies or Alpha Flies. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? First of all, those shoes are so expensive. Second of all, they don't last very long. So if you're using them to just walk around, you're just reducing the effectiveness of your carbon plate. And third of all, you just don't need it at all. If you're an elite marathon runner, if you're an elite runner going into the Olympics or the World Championships or whatever, then yes, please use carbon-plated shoes. They're fantastic. They're such a cool advancement in technology. And like I said, I've got a pair myself, but I got them after 4 years of consistently running. You don't need a pair of carbon-plated shoes when you first start running. I probably don't even need them now. The technological advancement is so cool. You see some retired Olympians and athletes being like, oh, I wish I had carbon-plated shoes when I was a professional athlete because I might have been able to go 10 seconds faster per mile or something. What they do is they make running slightly easier. They kind of help propel and bounce your foot forward. They're a little bit of a weird adjustment to get used to at first, which is why I got the trainer version, because they have a big wad of foam on them as well. So it's kind of like a step into getting the racing version. But if you're a beginner runner, you don't need them. Don't fall into the hype thinking you need them, and spending more money definitely doesn't mean that you'll get a better result from it. And then the second thing I want to go into is shoe rotation. It's a little bit shoe heavy at the moment, but I promise we'll move on and go into other things as well. If you've watched running YouTube videos, whatever, people will talk about a shoe rotation. You might have an everyday shoe, and then a tempo shoe, and then a race shoe, or also a recovery shoe. Those things are great, and there are loads of different shoes designed for different things. Like, you might get a shoe that's heavier with a massive wad of foam on it to help protect your legs, and then a really lightweight shoe that you might use for running. for running. Of course you can use it for running, you might use it for racing. But as a beginner runner, even as someone, maybe you've been running for a few years, but I don't know, the only run you do a week is a parkrun 5k, or maybe you go out on your lunchtime on a Wednesday and do a 5k, and then a parkrun on Saturday and do a 5k. You don't really need a shoe rotation. Yes, it can be good to help move things around because different shoes have your feet at slightly different angles and your legs at slightly different angles, so they kind of work different tiny muscles, and that helps to prevent an injury. But it only really matters if you're running, 70 miles a week, going out 5 times a week. If you're a beginner runner or you're a casual runner, you don't need this stuff. It's a marketing ploy. You've been lied to. Again, having said that, I have 3 pairs of running shoes now, but I've been running for 5 or 6 years or something since COVID. I do enjoy changing my shoes up. I've got really into it. So if you get into it as well and you love watching shoe review videos and you get really excited for buying a new pair of running shoes like it's Christmas morning when you get them, then yeah, sure, get them. But don't spend loads of money on a rotation of running shoes. Like, I don't know, you could spend 600 quid and you're just getting into running and you feel like you have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. One good pair of everyday running shoes and you're set for a while. If you really enjoy running, you get into it more, then introduce another pair. Maybe if you get into it even more, then introduce another pair that you, use to go to the track or do some speed work. But don't just listen to that guy on Instagram Reels who says you need to run 5 times a week and have a different pair of shoes for every single run. And you also don't have to get the latest pair of running shoes either. Running shoes kind of have seasons where the manufacturers update them and do a newer version. When that happens, you can usually get a cheaper deal for a slightly older pair of shoes that are still new, still as good. If you're new to running, you're not that into running, definitely do that and you can save yourself a little bit of money. I got a pair of Asics Gel Nimbus 26s and got like 80 quid off them. I think they retail at 180, I got them for 100 and I've still got them now, they're fantastic. And if anything, I like the look of them better than the newer version anyway, so I saved money and got a slightly outdated pair of shoes. Who cares? Not me. And then the next thing I want to talk about is running watches. When I started running, I didn't even have a watch. I didn't want a watch. I didn't really see the need for one. A lot of people love having the analytics and the statistics and get proper into that. I kind of do. But when you first start running, you don't need to, again, spend 100, 200, 300 plus pounds on a Garmin watch or a Coros watch or even an Apple Watch, whatever it is. I literally just used my phone. I used Strava on my phone to record all my runs because I wanted to see it afterwards. I wanted to use Strava. I wanted to see all my pace and stuff, but I didn't need to just keep checking it all the time. I think what watches really are good for are seeing your heart rate. You can see your pace. And that's literally all this one does. This is a Garmin Venue 3. It's a hand-me-down from my stepsister. It's good. It does the job. All I want it for is to record my runs. I can see my pace, my heart rate, and press start and stop. I don't really wear it to sleep. I don't need any extra amazing features. If I want to listen to music on my run, I use my phone, but it is quite good. Some watches you can connect to like Spotify and Apple Music and have your music on your watch, so you don't need to bring your phone. And this is all coming from a pretty, I like tech and new tech and stuff. Like, I'd watch MKBHD YouTube videos and I'll watch YouTube videos on the best Garmin watches that come out, but you don't need one. Sure, if someone came up to me and was like, Will, I've got this Garmin Forerunner 12 million plus, that's the newest, latest one that's worth £900. Do you want it for free? I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll love it. And I'd love going into all the detail of it and nerding out about all the tech. But this cost me a bottle of wine that I gave to my stepsister. You don't need really expensive stuff. Again, it goes down to if you really get into running or cycling or swimming or whatever it is that you might need a watch for, then you can slowly get into it. Don't feel pressured that you need to get a watch straight away because you absolutely don't. Number 4 or 5, I can't remember, paid running plans. These are things like Runner that you might pay £16 a month for, or even a one-to-one running coach. When you first get into running, you don't need any of this at all. It would probably push you far too much to the point where you don't even enjoy running. The first and most important thing you need to do is enjoy it. I've done a video on whether Runner is worth it. It helped me get a marathon PB. I'm using it again to try and help me get a 5k PB. I find it quite helpful, but again, this is coming from someone who's been running for 5 years or so. When I first did a couple of training plans, I just used free ones that were online. I went on the Running Channel's website. They've got some really good free ones. The Nike Run Club has got some free ones. They're not the best in the world, but they're free. and they can help you get into that kind of training mindset. And sometimes you don't really know what workout to do or what to do to train to a certain goal, and these free things can help you, absolutely. So please don't start running and think, oh my god, everyone's posting about runner, I need to get a runner thing to get good at running. Absolutely not. Again, it goes down to the more you get into it, it could be a year down the line, it could be 2, 3 plus. Then you can maybe think, oh yeah, I'll try runner out and see what that's about. But you absolutely do not need it when you first start running at all. The next thing I want to talk about is the need to be the best, the need to run a marathon even, the need to do an ultra marathon these days. They're becoming more and more normalized because people post about them online. And they're great things to do, obviously. They're insane. I want to do all of the things. But if you're just getting into running and you're doing a couch to 5K, or you're struggling to run for 10 minutes without having a walk, all of that is absolutely fine. Don't feel like you need to compare yourself to this guy or girl who you've seen on TikTok who's just done a backyard ultra. They've been running for 12 hours straight, non-stop. The grind is real, dude. It's fine to not compare yourself to those people. Compare yourself to yourself. That's the only person you should be comparing yourself to. And you will naturally get better and better and better. And then your self-confidence will get better and better and better as well. If you're comparing yourself to these if you're comparing yourself to these ultra beasts, it's almost definitely you're not going to be able to compete. And that's fine. 5-10 years ago or something, people wouldn't talk about doing marathons. People did them, obviously, but it wasn't like a normalized thing. Now it is very normalized. So please don't start running and think, I need to do a marathon to be a runner. You don't. You can run 2K and you're a runner. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, which I kind of touched in the last one as well, they kind of all interlink with each other, is that you will probably suck when you first start running. And that's fine. If you keep going and keep going at it, you will eventually learn to love it. And that is, I'm 99% sure most people will eventually learn to love it. Some people love it straight away. I definitely didn't. I hated it at first. It took me a good few months of running consistently to be like, oh, I get it now. So again, don't compare yourself to other people that you see online and being like, oh, they're having such a great time. I suck. I feel like crap when I'm running. They obviously don't, and they look great and they're having a great time. It's okay to suck. Keep going and you'll get there, or thereabouts. Another thing worth mentioning is probably just like running equipment and clothes. A lot of running stuff is pretty expensive. If you buy On training gear or Asics training gear or whatever it is, you're paying like 70 quid for a t-shirt. Lots of people use running vests. They're great if you want to bring gels and waters and whatever. You don't need it at all. I don't really like running with a running vest at all. I've got some running shorts that are like leggings that have got a little pouch in them and a little zip on the back. They're good. I've had them for like 3 years now, and I will probably have them until they fall apart. I think they cost me about 50 quid, which is quite a lot, but they're fantastic for putting my phone in so it doesn't slap around. Loads of people wear sunglasses. They get like proper expensive Oakleys. But what I'm trying to say is you don't need all this kind of stuff. You can use clothes that you've already got. It's absolutely fine. You may be starting as a beginner and you may be watching this video because you're like, yeah, I thought I had to get X, Y, and Z to be a runner. Hopefully watching this video has meant that you maybe realize you don't need all of that stuff. If you carry on running, you can start to get all that stuff if you want, but you don't have to at all. I absolutely love running with friends. I've been to a few running clubs recently, and it's just a good fun time. I really like running on my own as well for peace and clarity and to think and just to feel good in myself. After I've been on a run, I'm not irritable and fidgety, whereas even just sitting down doing this video, if I hadn't been for a run, I might be like, I need to move, I need to, whatever it is. The next video I do on this channel might be me trying to break a 20-minute 5K, which is a big goal for a lot of people. I've been trying to do it for a while, but I've probably been too scared to actually attempt it because I don't like the feeling of when you're running that fast and you can't breathe. But we'll be trying to do that, so subscribe if you want to see that, I guess. Like this video if it's helped at all, and I'll see you all on the next one.